What is going on YouTube? My name is Bancroft. Thank you for tuning in. And today, well, we got our first round of our showdowns this past weekend at our locals. And it is Leia taking on Boba Fett. It is Leia Red to be exact and Boba Blue, which is kind of great because I've actually not seen either one of these come to our locals before. So it's just pretty cool to see a new take and a variety of stuff. And because the tables are slightly wider than normal, you may see some weird cuts in the middle of the screen. That's just because I edited the center out a little bit so we could show the mats and the gameplay a little bit better and clearer and up close. And also this video is slightly sped up because this is best of 3. So we just want to make sure we show the entire performance of both players in these matchups. So yeah, for those who aren't familiar, Leia is a really good Rebel leader. So you're pretty much playing the Rebel deck, and them playing Leia Green means we're going to have a lot of good Red Rebels as well. So I'm looking forward to seeing this kind of take off. And then we have Blue Boba. Yellow's typically pretty good when it comes to a form of control that's different than blue. So when you mix both blue and yellow together, you're getting some control, which can turn into kind of like a mid-game control into when you're ready to just blast off, which is pretty awesome. So as we go over the video, we're going to kind of talk about the cards getting played like normal and do my best to kind of just invoke what's happening. So we got Phase 1 going on here with both a Battlefield Marine hitting the board. Nice little 3/3 for 2 resources. You can never beat that. Following up with the Inferior 4. Being able to kind of check the top 2 cards of your deck and just, do you want them or not? If you don't, put them on your deck. It's pretty cool. And when that card is also defeated, it does the exact same thing. So it's just great knowledge and getting cards you want to your hand pretty much. Getting a first attack out with the Battlefield Marine, doing 3 damage and following up with 2 damage with the Inferior 4. Going into both players now have open resources, kind of just playing things out now. And we get the first play of a red card on the Leia side, which happens to be Fighters for Freedom. And this card is pretty cool because it's Saboteur, so it gets past Sentinel, gets past Shield, it's already gone. It happens. But when if it would have maintained the board presence, it's when you play another red card, you may deal 1 damage to a base. So yeah, it getting balance is pretty nice. Rebel play here with Fleet Lieutenant giving a +2/+2 to the Battlefield Marine and kind of get that extra damage out there. Going into the Boba play now, we have just an additional 2 damage going out. Let's see here, with 1 open resource on the Leia, it may just be a claim and then kind of pass. Yeah, okay, so they claim and then Boba Fett turn around pass as well. Getting 2 draws going on here as well. So Leia is starting out, and at this point, Leia can deploy the leader if they would like to. As a reminder, on the deploy side for Leia, it does have raid 1 into 3/6, and when this unit attacks, you may attack with another rebel unit. Which is pretty much their action is to attack with a rebel unit, then you may attack with another one. So just getting 2 attacks, that's always great, which is what they just did now. It's great for getting that early damage on there, then having a turn just to do open resource or if you want to play, and then immediately claim afterwards while your opponent is still trying to either attack with cards or play other stuff. And we got a K2 hitting the board. K2 is pretty cool. It's a 4/4, which is nice with Overwhelm, and it's once again, it's gone. But if it would have stayed on the board when defeated, for each opponent, choose one, either deal 3 damage to that player's base or that player discards 1 card from their hand. So, I mean, they're getting bounce more than they are anything else. So, yeah, it's not bad. Going into the next phase, we still have no deployed. Oh, sorry, we do get Boba Fett deployed. So, I didn't talk about it real quick, but as a reminder, Boba Fett on the undeployed side is when when an enemy unit leaves play, you exhaust this card to pretty much restand a resource. And then on the deployed side, when this unit completes an attack, if an enemy unit left play this phase, you raid 2 resources. So it's just really good kind of reestablishing more resources to play, more stuff down the road. So we got Leia starting out, just kind of getting a nice little 3 points of damage to Boba Fett's base. We got, 6 open resources here? Yeah, going into a 6 play. What are we doing here today? Yeah, it's a good blue one. So they're most likely the choice here, Vigilance for a heal 5 and then get rid of a unit with 3 or less remaining health. Just getting rid of that Fleet Lieutenant to kind of control the board a little bit. And we got Freedom Fighter coming out on the board once again. And I think the Boba Fett is just going to, yeah, Boba Fett's like, no, I don't want that on the board. It just immediately takes the 3 damage to get rid of it. Which is great. Boba Fett also, like, being a 4/7 just makes it be able to last a little bit longer. We got the Leia play, turn around and playing a Red 3, which is pretty cool. It has Raid 1 natural, but then each other friendly heroic unit gains Raid 1 as well. This goes really great with the leader because it does stack, which is kind of nice. It makes the leader Raid 2 now, which is what Leia has on the board. So Leia is now turn around swinging instead of 3 with additional +1. It is now 3 with additional +2, making it 5 damage. Closing out that phase, going into the next one, we got a 6 to 17. It's not looking good for Boba Fett in the round 1 play. Going into figuring out what to resource this turn. And at this point, since this is a showdown event, there are the top 8, top 4, and top champion. And I think it's top 4, top 8, top 4, second place. No, is it second place? No, it's just champion. Yeah. We got the resources put here. We got Boba Fett getting an early strike out there. Admiral Akbar. It's a 1/4, has restore 1, but when play, you may deal damage to a unit equal to the number of units you control in this area. Using it to get rid of Boba Fett. That way, he loses out on the resource gain on this particular turn. And doesn't even get it also on the undeployed side because when the leader is defeated, they go into the exalted state. So yeah, it's kind of just shutting down the whole resource manipulation this turn. Boba Fett sitting with 1, 2, 7 resources, trying to figure out what to play here. We got 3 going. Oh, 6. We have another. No, we're going into a card I don't actually see a lot, which isn't bad. It is, I know I pulled that card, Bounty Hunter Crew. So it's a 4/4 with ambush, using it to get rid of the Akbar. But when play, you may return an event from your discard pile to your owner's hand, which is just good. It recovers cards that turn on. You just reuse those cards for whatever you need down the road. But the Leia player is still sitting at 6, while Boba Fett's sitting at 21. Ceremony, Ceremony, I think is what it's called, giving a experience token to rebel units that happen to attack this phase. So yeah, making Leia get an additional +1/+1 experience, which is pretty nice. We're ending that phase, going to the next one. That would make Leia, once again, when attacking, a 4/+1 with just 5 damage on attacks. With no damage to Leia either, which is kind of nice. So even if the Boba Fett player tried to send the 4 damage with Bounty Hunter Crew, it won't take out Leia right away. The only problem was in this situation that Boba Fett's player has been doing really good on kind of controlling Leia's field. So that way Leia can't maximize on their ability to get the multiple attacks off at one time. So it looks like Boba Fett's deciding on what to do here. Almost 5 resources altogether. We get Bosk. Very nice card. For 5 resources, you get a 4/5 with ambush. Getting that 4 damage on Leia. But what makes Bosk so good is that when you play an event, you may deal 2 damage to a unit. And that is as many times as you can in one turn. It works, which is pretty nice. Actually, yeah, Heroic Sacrifice. I was like, I didn't recall what that card was at first, but yeah, Heroic Sacrifice. You draw 1 card, then attack with a unit. For this attack, it's a +2/+0, and gains when this unit deals combat damage, you defeat it. Really just kind of using that to steamroll a little extra damage, trying to get that sneaky play in there, because it put Leia to, I think, 6 damage altogether. No, 7 damage altogether. And we're going into the U-Wing reinforcements. Very nice. You search top 10 cards of your deck, and you can play up to 3 units whose total cost equals 7 or less, and you can play those cards, which is pretty nice. It's a good way just paying 7, looking at top 10 cards deck and just playing cards from there. The rest of the cards go to the bottom of your deck, so hopefully you grab something that's very important. Let's see what they end up grabbing. Fighters for Freedom. A K2. That's a very good pull. And it deals 1 damage because the order that they were played, very nice. 10 to 29, not much of wiggle room here. Leia just has to get at least 1 more damage and they claim round 1. We got a pass here going to next phase. Did the Boba Fett player get anything good? And it looks like they're just keeping track of who has what initiative because that marker is not moving. I think Boba Fett does have turn here. Going with Vigilance to kind of just maintain a little life, take 5 away, get rid of at least 1 of those cards. Now sitting at a nice little 24. K2 is a 4/4, so if Leia has a way of kind of boosting that, that's all they needed. And there is 1 card in a Rebel deck that does have that, and that would be a... Oh, no. Instead, Heroic Sacrifice. Sorry, there's multiple cards. I was thinking Fleet Lieutenant, but yeah, no. Heroic Sacrifice works just the same. So Leia did take that one, and we are going to go ahead and go over into round 2 of a quick little transition. There we go. So now Boba Fett player will be taking initiative because they did lose the first round. Keep in mind, with best of 3, there are sideboards after the first and second rounds. Sorry, yeah, of the set, whatever. So I don't know exactly what they decided into, unfortunately. But we'll see if it makes a difference or not. We got the resource down, Buffett going to the classic inferior 4. It's just a good turn 1 play, so it's what you really want to see. Like I mentioned earlier, it just helps you set the top 2 cards of your deck, and if you don't like them, get rid of them. We do have a Sabine hitting the board, very nice. I did not pull that card, but Sabine is naturally, I think, a 2/3, and then when it attacks, it deals 1 damage to your opponent's base. Getting that early damage out on phase 2. Yeah, so 3 damage. Yeah, it's a 2/3. That's what I thought. I don't know where my copy of my card is, but yeah, there it is. And I don't think the Leia player is ever going to get the additional effect with Sabine, where if you have at least 3 aspects among other friendly units, this card can't be attacked. I do not think that's possible. No, sorry, that is actually possible. Let's just see if they can pull it off. And a layaway, you can't. It's gone. Ooh, but going into a saboteur with the Spec Force Soldier, very nice. And when play, I say saboteur, but when play, a unit loses Sentinel, which is nothing there to target really. Just kind of getting an additional pressure on the board for 1 resource, and it's a 2/2. And it's gone. It's gone. And what took care of it was make an opening, which gives a unit -2/-2 for the phase, and then you get to heal 2. So it looks like we got some healing going on now for the sideboard for Boba Blue. Going into a couple attacks here, putting the total damage down to a 4/3. Following up with the Sabine that was bounced earlier. Just getting on the board, and then following up with another Battlefield Marine. So 3 units on the ground area, 1 unit for Boba Fett in the space area, going into the next phase, which would be 5 resources. Yeah. And as a reminder, both these leaders can be deployed this turn if they see fit. We got Boss coming up. Boss is really good at clearing boards. Like I said earlier, it has ambush, and then when you play an event card, you get to deal 2 damage to a unit. Especially if the Boba player deploys this turn and then attacks, they get to resand their 2 energy resources, and then they can use that for taking out Boss is very, very smart for layup. Them using the layup ability to kind of get the 2 attacks out. And I think we are tying this up now to 6-6 when it comes to damage. And these are both bases are 30 health bases, so do not think we've seen this card yet. But it's not a bad one for a cause I believe in. You reveal the top 4 cards of your deck. For every heroic card, you deal 1 damage to your opponent's base, and so you got 4 damage out of that. But what also makes this card so good that you may discard any of the revealed cards and put the rest back on top of your deck in any order. So like if there are 4 cards that can be completely useless to you for this phase, or even this game, you could just say, oh cool, let's just get rid of those 4 cards and hopefully draw on something better. We got both leaders deploying themselves, Boba Fett player going for cleanup duty. And unfortunately, Leia could attack into Boba Fett if they wanted to, but it wouldn't right out take out Boba, which is unfortunate. So instead of going straight for their base, instead putting them to 13 points of damage. And then I'm your father. And it looks like the Leia player decided to not take damage, which gives the Boba Fett player the opportunity to draw 3 cards, which is really strong. Going into the next phase, we got 6 resources now. Boba Fett players still maintaining the space unit and as well now their leader on board. Well, Leia just has the leader. Nice. Fleet Lieutenant swinging Leia, getting an additional 6 points of damage. I feel like it's almost one of those things where I would have attacked Boba just to get Boba out of the way. But getting Boba Fett to 20 points of damage right now does feel pretty strong. All right, paying 6. This is for another Vigilance. Yes, it is. So healing 5 life and getting rid of the Fleet Lieutenant. So now when the Boba Fett player decides to make an attack, they will get to resand 2 more resources. And we got, once again, red 3 coming out on the board, which will help boost Leia's attacks as well. Boba Fett player going into the red 3 Inferno 4 isn't a bad move. What you're doing here, you're just applying damage to the unit. That way you can take it out later. And also, like I said, when Inferno 4 goes out, you check the top 2 cards of your deck again. Like Boba Fett players once again going for more of a cleanup here, hitting Leia for 4 points of damage. Now Leia could go for the trade here, or they could go straight for attacking the base. Let's see what they end up doing. Swinging 5 points, and then using the leader's ability to swing with the red 1 as well, which is an additional 3 more points, going straight into the opponent's base. Make your offer. Once again, healing 2, getting rid of the Leia. Yeah, very strong. And even if he would have traded with Leia, make your offer still would have been played regardless, just because of the red 3. Ooh, we got Traitorous coming out in play. So it's an upgrade. When this upgrade becomes attached to a non-leader unit that costs 3 or less, you take control of that unit. And then when this upgrade becomes unattached from that unit, that you lose control of it. So using this to kind of like protect your own cards, pretty nice. It's allowed him to do 2 additional damage to his opponent's base. We got Boba Fett playing 3 here for a waylay. Yeah, just bouncing it back to their hand feels good. It almost makes like the Leia player feel like, almost like a wasted action, which is one thing I like about this game, where you could feel like this is the best play you could possibly do, and then immediately there's a solution goes, oh, well, that's kind of garbage. Going into the next phase, we're sitting at 8 resources for the Boba Fett player. And it looks like the Leia player is sitting at 7. Got an R2D2 coming out, which is really great for just kind of like spot checking the top card of your deck. And but for 5 resources, we got Bosca and right back out once again and just dealing with that R2. 3 resources being, yep, this is a good card. Once again, we possibly doing up to 4 points of damage. And I think they got it as well, putting the Boba Fett player up to, what 29? 25, sorry. I for some reason thought that was a 29-10 at first. So 25, 5 points away from being taken out. Attacking with Boba, getting an additional 4 points of damage out there. We got Admiral Akbar coming right back out once again. And this will be used to finish off Boba, I think, right? No, because it's just 1 unit right now. Oh. 5 open resources, I think I would take first here. I would take initiative as a Boba player, unless they have something they really want to play. Oh, yeah, that's a good one. Do you let the Boba player draw 3 more cards or take the 7 points of damage? And regardless, if he chooses for the 3 cards, he would still take 2 damage from Bossk anyways. But yeah, taking the get rid of Agmar, though your opponent doesn't have as much resources. There's another inferior 4. Doesn't matter. You see the top 2 cards and just rearrange what you want. That goes to that phase, going into the next one. Even though Leia has done more damage, it feels like there's a pivoting spot coming up in a moment, just where Boba Fett player has 3 cards on the board. I don't think Leia has anything that they can do to get rid of all of that. I think I've said before in a previous video, like, Leia's one of those decks, oh, Fleet Lieutenant with nothing to target. That hurts, but at least getting a body on board. It is a 3/3, so if Boba wants to get rid of it, they have to do some damage to it to hurt one of their units. I think that's what's happening here. Yeah. But Leia's one of those decks where, like, if you could stop the board, you have a better situation than most games you would. Devotion coming out here onto inferior 4. Devotion is a nice card. I don't really see it much played. But it's a +1/+1 upgrade that when attached, a unit gains restore 2, and that's just really good. It helps you keep yourself alive longer. Now he's doing 3 damage instead of dealing 2 damage, and every time he attacks, he gets 2 health back. And almost tying this up here for a 21-23 play, going into the next phase. Another Akbar coming out, taking out Boba Fett finally. And I feel like a trade's going to come up instead, using Bossk to just swing into Akbar. So that way his opponent doesn't have anything for going into the next phase. There's a debate going on attacking with or not. Instead, going for the inferior 4, just get the health cleanup here. Add the additional damage there as well. And a Bright Hope comes out to kind of do a little protection, which is nice. Bright Hope, you could return a friendly unit back to your hand and draw 1 card, but he chooses not to. Has to be a ground unit, by the way. But the Boba Fett player has tons of resources still here. Hasn't had a chance to use any of it. And if he has the event cards for it, he can get rid of a card and possibly deal damage to another one using Bossk. Going for the trade instead. I mean, it's not a bad option. We don't know what's in the Boba Fett player's hand. Well, that works. Power to I think it's power to the dark side or power of the dark side. Yeah, power of the dark side. For 3, your opponent chooses a unit, get rid of it. And if they have no units but 1, you gotta choose that 1. And then, oof. Trip just playing Boba Fett's spaceship. Fett's fire spray. Which what's great with this is that if you control Boba Fett or Jango Fett as a leader or unit, you get to ready this unit. So it comes in for 6 resources and immediately does 5 damage because you can attack it as it was. It does have its own unique action for 2 resources. You can exhaust a non-unique unit as well. So kind of controlling their opponent just a bit more. That was phase 2. Round 2. We are already into round 3, which we got 2 units on the board now. Classic Boba Fett getting the inferior 4. We got Sabine back out on the board as well. Getting that early 3 damage out there and the 2 damage with the inferior 4. And right now, this is a tied 1-1. So this is anybody's game. Freedom's a fighter hitting the board. Boba Fett doesn't tend to like that one. Yep, bouncing it back to the opponent's hands. So that way they can't maintain that. Wrapping up this phase, going into the next one. So for 4 resources, we got a couple options. I know K2 is the classic option. The question is, what in their hand, and do they want to play K2? Like they're still waiting for. Okay, there's the resource from Boba Fett. Getting the attack out. Yep, doing that 3 damage. I don't get to worry about losing it for playing a card. Getting 2 damage out here. Boba Fett wants. I mean, you have the units to attack with. They want to be in control. They want to wait for their opponent to play cards. Getting K2 on the board now. Yeah, that's rough. So for 4 resources, we get a takedown, taking out the K2, which means they take 3 damage, but it's better than taking 4 damage next turn. Wrapping up that phase, going into the next phase for 5 resources now. Both leaders, once again, can be active this turn. Getting that 3 points of damage out now while you can. And most likely Boba Fett's going to fall. Oh, no, paying 5 resources for a boss. Yep, getting it straight out of the way. Battlefield Marine hitting the board for 3-3. Boba Fett player could just swing 2, see how Leia reacts, instead of deploying the leader instead. Leia comes out as well. Now the next question is, do you just hack the base and get to restand 2 resources, or do you swing into one? Yep, swing into Battlefield Marine, just cleaning up those extra rebel problematic cards when you have the Leia leader. We have the X-Wing coming out, giving 2 experiences to Leia, putting Leia now up to a 5-8, and then when attacking Raid 1. Oh man, yellow is so good with these controls as well as blue is able to get rid of stuff. So what we just got hit here is a no good to me dead for 2 resources. You exhaust a unit. That unit can't ready this round. And then you turn on to do 2 damage with Bosk. Yeah, get rid of the X-Wing with that one. So going into the next phase with 6 resources, we got 4 coming out with another, 3 for Fighters for Freedom. The Boba player has so many options here. You either just attack into it, get rid of it. If swinging with Bosk as a reminder, toughness is 5. So like you can swing through the Freedom's a Fighter, but then it takes Bosk out. So the question is, do you instead try to play event cards to work your way in narrowing other cards down or removing threats and whatnot, and then ping other things? We see Boba Fett's debating on playing a card or not. Yeah, we got 2 resources being sent out. Devotion, very nice. Giving it to Boba Fett, making him additional +1/+1, and now he has Restore 2. Sabine coming out, pinging the base for 1. Putting a 13-6. Boba Fett going for a swing. This will be 5 damage to a particular throw. Oh, maybe holding off on that a little bit. Swinging Bosk into Sabine, which keeps Bosk still alive. The Sabine is naturally only a 2/3. And it looks like Leia might be claiming this turn for initiative. Boba Fett still has 4 open resources, and when they attack Kid, they will get 2 resources restood. Yep. Getting rid of the Freedom's Fighter, putting Boba down 6 points of damage. And here we're just the token's put in the wrong spot. Just fixing that real quick. So with 6 open resources, yeah, we can pay 3. Giving the Leia a chance to keep their card alive. They do keep it alive, but they have to take 2 points of damage due to boss. And then the Boba Fett player gets to draw 3 cards. Yeah, that's just so good. And getting an additional 2 points of damage out there, putting up the Leia's base to 8 points of damage to Boba Fett's 11. And then playing a 1-cost unit, which is very interesting because this unit can draw you a card if you have the available resources. So Mining Guild, Mining Guild TIE Fighter. It's a 1-cost for a 1/2, and then on attack you may pay 2 resources to draw a card. And it's just really good, especially in Boba Fett when you're resending stuff and you have nothing else to play, like no 2 drops in your hand, you have this on board, you just swing, pay the 2, draw a card, and hopefully you draw something good for the next phase. Going into this phase, 7 resources. We got Leia with 4 points of damage, Boba with 6 points of damage. But Boba has 2 health left. Leia has 4 health left. We get a Sentinel hitting the board, trying to protect that Leia as best as possible. That Sentinel also is a 4/3, so whoever's hitting is taking some heavy damage, but it doesn't matter when Yellow has no good no good to be dead. Just re-resting, exhausting the Leia, dealing 2 more damage to it as well. K2 hitting the board, a little pressure, trying to build that up because he knows that if Boba Fett takes care of it, then they take 3 points of damage. 5 open resources. You got a couple options. You don't really want to sack anything into that Waylay. Yep. Leia is really good to get rid of 2 threats in this situation because Leia only had 8 total health and she had 6, putting her to 8 damage. And you're bouncing a card back to hand. In this case, is Sentinel. So you're free to attack wherever you want to attack now. Boba Fett going for the base hit here, healing 2 off of that. Now taking the lead when it comes to damage on bases. And it looks like Leia took the initiative. Boba Fett's just going straight into all their attacks, getting rid of K2 before they could deal 4 damage. And then just kind of, swinging with this one to draw 2 cards. Always good. That's going to be a pass for this phase going into the next one. Once again, we're in a very similar situation as we were in round 2, where it looks like Boba Fett took a lot of damage early on, but as the game progressed, Boba Fett kind of has shifted into a more controlled and just slowly poking at Leia. And I don't know what options Red Green Leia is going to have to kind of fight back here. 3, bring out the Sentinel once again. That way, if Boba Fett player wants to get anything through, they have to take out their leader. Or they could play Vigilance, heal 5, and then immediately just get rid of that card anyways. Feels good. Sabine hitting the board. Boba Fett going for the swing. Question is, are they trading? Yes. No, they're not. They're just hitting the base and then healing 2 more, going down to 5 to Leia's 21. Like Leia took the initiative once again, as Boba Fett hits 3 more and gets to draw another card off of this. Wrapping up that phase, going into the next one. There's not much we can see Leia doing here, unfortunately, but we'll see if they could try to pull something off. Leia with 7 resources, and Boba Fett with over here with 9 resources. I think I would swing with Sabine, just get a trade off, get rid of Boba Fett, ping the base for 1. Yeah, that's okay. That's exactly what they did. I was like, that's the best option. So now they're no longer in a threat range. I mean, they weren't technically in threat range yet because Boba Fett was only at, I think, 5 points of damage. Getting 2 hits, 2 points here, putting 26. Having 5. Ooh, that's a good one because they have enough damage when the Guerrilla Attack Pod comes out, it gets to say and ready. Unless Avenger comes out and just pops it. That's game. Yeah, there's nothing much that the Leia player can do from here on out. That is round 1. Look forward to tomorrow when we drop round 2. Yeah, thanks for joining us. Hope you all enjoy. And yeah, bye.